Okay, ma'am, what inspired you to become a filmmaker? Like, was there a particular film or a theater or a story that you read that inspired you to become a filmmaker, or was it gradual?
It was a gradual process. Thank you. It was a gradual process because I did not really think growing up that I want to be a filmmaker. I liked storytelling because ever since I can remember when I was little, I started out by writing poems, which were embarrassing at this point of time, but good enough. And I had my sister and my friends and my family, they would support, they'll encourage me to write more. So storytelling was always a core part of everything that I did, be it singing or um, dancing for that matter. Uh, this was something that always, attracted me. So yeah, growing up, I did that, singing and dancing, and then I thought, okay, journalism because serious work. Ki, oh, I want to tell, the stories that matter and, social issues and everything, which are important. But that was my mindset back then when I was doing my undergraduation. And slowly and steadily, I discovered a lot of different things like photography. I traveled a little, and since I got comfortable with writing, so I worked as a uh, ghost content writer. I used to write for lifestyle vlogs and travel vlogs, all of that. After that, when I went for my master's to SIMC Pune, that is where I got introduced to the world of filmmaking. And I think that was the point when I went to my senior set because we used to assist them. When I went on a set, it was a new world for me. And I think maybe somewhere there it clicked. And when I made my first film, I felt like, this is a medium through which I would like to tell my stories. I felt very comfortable there. I felt uh, not for the lack of better, I'm not finding not easy, but it just felt very natural. Natural is the, I think, right word for me. It felt very natural that this is a medium through which I would like to tell stories. So yeah, that is SIMC was the place where I actually realized I want to be a filmmaker.
Okay, great. Ma'am, when you were assisting, like what you took from there, and you did in your film.
Okay,
During
so
assisting, what
yeah,
are the
yeah, yeah.
things you took from there?
Oh, so the first set I was in was one of my seniors' project, and that was the first time I was on set. So everything was new, and I just wanted to do everything. Oh, even clap for that matter. It looked so like wow, ये मैंने TV पे देखा types. So that we learned how to give calls. We learned what master breakdown is, how scripts are written, uh, something or the other. So every project I picked something for myself. One of a very dear project called Miyaji Ki Dadi. It was directed by one of my seniors back at SIMC. His name is Amber Singh. He directed Miyaji Ki Dadi, and I assisted him in on that project. So I remember, I followed him everywhere. And he was, gracious enough and kind enough to like never say no to me. Like if he's going to the actor's house, which is like an hour away somewhere, and he's going there and he's just going to have conversations and discuss the script with the actor. I wanted to be there for that discussion because I wanted to know like what kind of conversations happen there. So I picked something from there, and slowly and steadily, like every project has given me something or the other. So like I don't know at this point of time if I can tell you ki is project se kya kiya and all of that because there are multiple projects, but every project a project has has been a learning for me. be it a big project or a small project.
Okay, okay. And ma'am, have you gone to film school? And what's your opinion on film school? Like, should
Oh,
someone go to film school or don't go to a film school?
okay. No, I did not actually go to a film school. I was in a communication school, a media school. It's Symbiosis Institute of Media and Communication, and I did a specialization under mass communication that I called audiovisual, and we had uh, different courses under audiovisual. Like there was camera, there was lighting, there was screenplay writing, there was TV programming, media and culture studies, radio programming. So there was a lot of things there. And I think it worked out really well for me because I had no idea कि ओ अच्छा ये भी तो होता है तो like हाँ ये होता है but like I did not know how many people are there who are going to work on it, right? कि अच्छा if there is a radio show we're listening to, I had no clue so many people are involved behind the scenes. So that was my exposure there at SIMC. Film school, I don't I I would, if anybody would like to go to film school, great. Because there is, a lot of learning there, and it is a very focused study of, say, if you're going to FTII, so you are dedicating years of your life towards filmmaking. And if you really know that, this is what I want to do, I think you should go to a film school. But if there is somebody who doesn't, believe in that, that's also fine because I think working on sets or assisting on films are equally a great learning. Film schools help, I feel, somewhere. I would, even when I have worked on projects, I don't come from a film school, but I know for a fact a person who has come from a film school knows their shit. Because, it's like they know everything. It's a great learning experience for me to learn from them and on set. But people who are coming from film school, they have, great experience. That is what they have dedicated their lives to. A lot of years they dedicate to it. So they know their craft and they know it well. They know the history of it. They know what is working, what is not working, how we can. They know jugaad also. It's not like they're always going to be oh, they want to work on a big set, or they're creative like that. They can create something out of nothing. So film schools are a great place to be if you know what you want in life. Like if you know, oh, I want to be a filmmaker, I want to be an actor, director, whatever in that space, then yes, film schools is a great thing to do. But at the same time, in my personal opinion, there's no, one path to filmmaking.
Ma'am, you started your own production company, IF Film Private
Yes.
Limited. Is it correct?
Yeah.
So is it for Chupi or is it for something else? So your plan is to also produce.
Yeah. So it's called ER Films Private Limited. And I started this production house because I was sick and tired of waiting for somebody to invest in my film or to wait for oh, somebody will help me out. So that is how I started ER Films. And Chupi Roh is its first proud production, but we are working on other projects as well at this point of time. And of course, I would like to, produce more films under the banner of ER Films because I really want to give, opportunities and platforms to people like me because so that like I don't have to like I had to go through a lot. It was a lot of struggle to make Chupi Roh, and it is very difficult to make a film. So, if in any capacity, if I'm able to help somebody out in making their films, I would like to do that. I would like to produce, I would like to direct. So, any which ways.
Great. And then how the idea for Chupi Roh came, the writing?
So, yeah, Chupi Roh actually was inspired from a conversation that I had with my mother back in 2020 when the pandemic hit. I moved out of my family's house right after my school, and it was I think after 8 9 years. in 2020 when I had come back home because of pandemic, and I stayed for that longer period of time with my parents. And during that point, there was not a lot of work going on. There was not a lot of things that were happening, and which was great for me as an individual because I got to build a relationship with my parents. Not that it was bad or anything before, it was all chill. They are amazing and they've always been supportive. But I never had like those one-on-one conversations you have with people because you always see them like, oh, mom, dad. But I actually got to interact with them as individuals. So there was this one fine day I was talking to my mother about. Um, LGBTQIA plus communities issues and my experiences with the same things and I was just having a normal conversation. This is happening, that is happening, and she happened to tell me about this one friend of hers growing up. She grew up in a rural space, in a rural village. It was a government school, and she had a batchmate who was a little feminine. He had like, a little bit of feminine inclinations, and she was telling me about him. So I asked her, so what do you think about it? She's like, we didn't know, he used to chill with us and sit with us and spend a lot of times with us. It was, but it was fine with, everyone. He did get used to get he did get bullied, but so we were just having this conversation, and she happened to tell me that he was kind of forced to get married. He was not getting married. He didn't want to get married, and he was sort of forced into it. And shortly after, he committed suicide. So at so while that conversation was happening, I could see my mother trying to engage with this thing, which she might have never engaged with, and she was trying to understand what must have happened back then, and maybe if you would have gotten some support, or if anybody could have understood his uh, I know whatever support he wanted, things might have been different. So while that conversation was happening, I just started to actually visualize how it must have been for him. So I think that is where Chupi Roh started. It started off as the story of the boy who's the kid in the film Abu. And yeah, that is where it started. It became the mother story for me later. But yeah, that is where I started writing it.
Great. And ma'am, how much time it took to like complete the writing? How many drafts you have written? And when shooting, did you like follow the script or you like improv? You let the actors be?
Okay. So, writing, okay. I wrote the story. So I had this idea, and I have a very, I don't know if it is weird or not, but this is my process. I think of something and I keep on thinking about it for a very long time. I keep on revisiting it, like this one particular idea, and then I have this weird functioning thing that जब तक urgency नहीं होगी ना तब तक I will not write it down. Like I have that thing, like that procrastination, the urgency that I create for myself. So I had actually applied for a grant for this story, to develop this story. And I had this idea and I got to know about this grant. So I was like, oh, I have to apply for it. So that was the first time I wrote it. That was in 2020, if I'm not wrong, or end of 2020. That was the first time I actually wrote it on paper. But I think the first draft came on to onto life was uh, uh, June 2021, because that is when I did Global Media Makers in association with Dharamshala International Film Festival. They had a screenwriting fellowship for Himalayan filmmakers. And since I am from Himachal, I was eligible to, participate in the fellowship. So I had this story. I sent this idea, and it got picked up. We were, a couple of people, some uh, 14 people, if I'm not wrong. We were 14 people who were there, from Himalayan region, uh, all the countries that there are in the Himalayan region. And that is where I developed the script thoroughly, properly. That is where I learned a lot of things, how to make a beat sheet, how, and we would, discuss films and dissect them. So that was the time when I think wrote the first draft, and after that there was some four drafts. Like there were four drafts that were of the script, and and we shot it in February 2023 last year. During the shoot, we followed the script. I Because I feel, script is like Bible. It is Bible for me. So I do follow it. A lot of times, things are different because you have written a particular scene a particular way, but you don't get that location. You don't, there must be something creatively missing there. So of course you have to um change things. You have to get creative with your locations. So there were a few compromises there because I wanted a certain house. I could not get that, so I got the second best option, and I worked around it. And there was this one particular scene, I think, which I had to rewrite. I did not re wrote. I did not rewrite it because uh, same thing was there. It's just like the choreography of it and where it was set. I changed that because that was not happening. I think that was the only thing that I changed during shoot. But apart from that, it was, I think, the same. Oh, there was this another thing. So you have watched the film. Um, the dream sequence in the beginning. I actually had written that sequence in a classroom. It started in a classroom, but when I was scouting for locations with my father, because my father was my line producer, I did not know anybody in the village. So we were going to, all of these schools, trying to figure out, if this would work or if we would get permissions or if, our schools open then. So you have to like keep in mind all of these things logistically. So I went to this one particular school, I remember in Bagipul, which is in my village. Um, and I was just like walking towards the school, and I just looked down, and I saw this piece of land, and it was a field. There were big boulders there and a tree and everything, and it looked so stunning. And I was like, okay, wow. And then just like my brain started to go somewhere. I called my cinematographer. His name is Salu K. Thomas. He shot the film. I called him, and he was in Kochi at that point of time. We were working, all of us were functioning remotely. I was just, at home doing things as much I could do. So I video called him and I tried to show him. I said, listen, this is something, and what do you think if we shoot this, at instead of the classroom, why if we shoot the dream sequence here? He's like, oh, it looks nice. Then he told me, like, can you go down? And I was like, I think so. And then I asked my father, and then we got to know there is no path to go down. And it was a really bad space. And we just, I don't know how, I was too motivated at that point of time. I think so. My father and I just like managed to go down all the way down to the stream, and we crossed this bridge. And then I clicked a lot of pictures and I sent it to him. That was something that we changed during location scouting. So a lot of things like that, like locations and maybe the choreography of the scene, what they're going to wear and how the you know technical things, that changed a little bit, which is, I think, which is something that's bound to happen. That was, yeah, that is how I did the film.
Okay, great. Ma'am, this is a short film, like, and you're a producer as well. So, how difficult it is to make a short film in India and then maybe sell it?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question. I don't think I'll be able to answer this because I'm myself still navigating this space. But I can tell you from my own experience. I did produce it, the film, but this was only possible because I had these amazing people who were really interested in making this film. So it was not like, oh, they're my friends, so I just like, yeah, aao, kaam karo. It was, I sort of pitched my project to everybody. I sent my script to Salu first, and I told him, "Okay, listen, you don't have to say yes. Just read my script. If you think you like it and it's worth your time, then we can discuss." I sent it to him. I sent it to my editor, Divishri Samantray. I sent it to her, my sound designer, my actors, everybody who was on board, because this was happening purely on the basis of collaboration. It was not, I was not able, like, I did not, मेरे power में होता तो I would have, but I could not pay everyone. My sound team, technical team, who sound recordists, they had come from Chandigarh. They were hired on, per day basis. So I had to like keep some money, which was spent, like I had to spend money very smartly. कि यहाँ पे देना जरूरी है तो ही खर्चा होगा. Otherwise, like if it can be done, and if I'm able to manage it, pull it off. My equipment was borrowed. I mean, I saved a lot of money there. I saved a lot of money in lighting because of Salu, because he's very creative like that. We did not have big lights or stands for that matter, and it was raining like crazy. So like he had to get really creative with that, and he did not have a lot of assistance. And I know for a fact he's not used to that anymore, because he's a big guy, and but he had Vibha assisting him, and they were able to manage it. So I was able to produce this film, especially when the film was on floor, purely because of collaboration. My, the direction team assistants and production people, all of these were like my friends' friends, or somebody who has recommended someone, or somebody who, just wanted a vacation. Ki, "Oh, I need a break from my city life. I want to come. मुझे काम आता है, मुझे दे दो." I was like, okay, let's go. So, that is how I was able to produce this film. Majority of my money went into post production and sending my film to the festivals. So when you are making a film, my objective when I was making this film was to have something to show. Right. Yeah, I really wanted to make this film, and I tried. My hands to God. I tried to get producers on board. I tried to find uh, research these policies here in Himachal for filmmakers. So I did everything possible that I could to get somebody on board, but that was not happening. So I had to take matter onto my own hands, and I have an amazing family. My eldest sister, Anchal Bhardwaj, she's like, "Yeah, take the money and fucking make the film. Like, we are here to support you. What is wrong with you?" Well, and I just, I would feel ki, "Oh, I'm their sister. That's me, her sister. That's why she's doing it. Like, I'm their daughter. That's why they're helping out." But somewhere, I had to take the help because I was miserable and I wanted to make this film. This producer thing has happened to me. I never thought that, I want to be a producer. Never in my life, even at SIMC, or, when I thought of getting into films, I never thought I'm going to be a producer. But it was something that, just was bowed down upon me कि लो बहन करना पड़ेगा. तो I was like चलो ठीक है. But if you, or anybody who is an aspiring filmmaker, there are platforms, there are co-production markets, there are film funds and grants by a lot of international organizations. Either you can develop your script there, or you can submit your script there and develop it, or you can submit your script and get money to produce your film. So keep a lookout, I would say. I mean, talk to as many people you can, who are already, making projects. How did they manage to do it? Like I managed to do it because I had a lot of support, right? And not everybody has that. And I am very grateful for it, but not everybody has that. So people who want to make a film, I would say, research about all these film funds, film grants, and research film festivals and attend film festivals, because that has been a mecca for me. Like I would go there and just watch films, get inspired, meet people, meet fellow filmmakers. Not because तुमको पैसा भी मिलेगा, मिल जाएगा तो बहुत ही सही. Like you'll get some money, you might get a producer, but then again you might get somebody who's equally passionate as you are, you get to meet them, and that person might be able to help you with your project. You might be able to help that person with the project. So there's this lot of back and forth, that happens at film festival, and it's the best place to get inspired. Like, trust me, if I would not have attended DIF in 2022 and Kerala International Film Festival of Kerala, I don't think I would have made Chupi Roh, or I would have been like in my cheatiest space. But I went there, and best decision ever. So I just keep on telling everyone, film festivals, grants, funds, co-production markets. Lot is going on. You just need to like navigate.
Okay. What's your favorite film festival in India?
In India,
Okay, in general.
in general, we to pata nahi, like I have not been to like lot of festivals, but my favorite festival is Dharamshala International Film Festival. Um, one major reason is uh, it's a very community-like space. There is a lot of accessibility to everything, to watching films, to even filmmakers and producers, people, everyone. It's the same. So there's no VIP culture, or there is, no oh, you can't talk to that person, or like, oh, you can't, there's a very proper way of doing it. It's for everyone. And people from all over the country and the world especially come to, the place like Dharamshala, which is accessible, of course, but which is like you wouldn't think you would think of like a Bombay or a Delhi or like a, metropolitan city where a festival like DIF is happening. But, it's in Dharamshala, it's a very cozy space in the mountains, and people are especially coming there for the love of cinema. I've had a great experience there. I have attended the festival 2 years in a row. In 2022, I went and watched all the films, some wonderful films I watched there. I had a major migraine episodes happening because I was just watching the films. Like morning, I'll go and I'll leave like by 9 or 10 at night. And I'm just watching the entire day, watching a film, coming out, eating something, talking to people. Ki, oh, what did you watch? What did you think? And maybe, taking suggestions. So I did that in 22, 23. I went there with my film. Chupi Roh had its Indian premiere at DIF. So yeah, I came there with my film. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to network. Uh, it I think DIF is the place to be for me.
Okay, great. Is it because it's in Himachal? That's why. Because you have made a film in your remote area and the film festival in Himachal.
Uh, no, I don't think. See, I have a bias towards mountains. I take full ownership of that. But not because of that. I think it's also because DIF, does all of these initiatives also like all round the year. It's not just like they're focusing towards the festival. They do a lot of different initiatives. Like I was able to do my screenwriting fellowships because of DIF. Because, they collaborated with some international organization, and then there was, it was a proper hiring. No, I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know what it's called, but like they posted about it, they shared it with the community. I mean, doing a screenwriting fellowship for people, just limited to Himalayan region. I did not hear anything like it before that. I actually did not get it. Two of my friends had actually sent their call out some because they had posted about it. So they shared the link. "Hey, listen, there is something that's happening for Himalayan filmmakers. So why don't you give it a shot?" That is how I applied, and that is how Chupiro also happened. So I don't know, maybe I have, some bias towards it, but you ask anyone. Somebody who has attended DIF, hands down, will tell you it's the best in India.
Great, great. No, I was just kidding. Because,
No, no, it's fine. No,
uh,
I'm telling you, I think you should also attend it.
yeah, sure, sure, sure. So, your experience while editing it, because we have seen, I've spoken about writing and your experience in shooting, so I'm editing and post production as well.
Okay. So post-production happened in Bombay and Kochi. Uh, So my editor, Divishri, she's based out of Bombay. She works there as an editor. I We had thought of actually doing it in Dharamshala because I was in Dharamshala for 2 years. So we thought, because she also wanted to visit the mountains and she wanted to come, but I think she had a busy schedule and the entire system, she had her own system, and she worked, from her office. We did not rent any studio or whatever. She did it all by herself. And it was a lot of back and forth for me, and put a hole in my pocket as a producer because I would be traveling from Dharamshala to Bombay, and so there was a little back and forth. Twice or thrice I did it. We spent like a month on the edit, and the best thing which happened to me during edit was my editor and I were, very much on the same page. Um, we were on the same wavelength. We were looking at things a very similar way, but at the same time, I did not share the logs. She only asked me, she's like, don't share the logs with me, whatever you have shot. I want to go through the entire rushes and I will, cut it myself. I was like, okay, great. And the first draft that she did, she had, cut the entire thing all by herself. I mean, without my, I did not intervene anywhere. She saw the entire rushes that there were, all the footage and everything. And when I saw the first draft, some like 80-90% of it was exactly what I had in my mind, and I think on paper as well. When we were shooting, there were, a lot of changes, a little bit of changes here and there, but all in all, editing was a wonderful process. For I think for the both of us, I don't know if it was for her, but for me it was. She's a great friend now. I mean, like I didn't chill a lot with her back at Simbi. I think we had a conversation for the first time only because of Chupi Roh, but I had a great time with her during the edit. For sound, I worked with Moina Pose, and he has done great work. So having him on board was a big thing. Like I remember freaking out. It's like, oh, studio mein kaam ho raha hai. Oh my God. Because I mean, we've always worked, like in our rooms or like a friend's room or who has like a home setup. So this was the first, it was like a big thing. So my editor and I, both of us were like very excited. Moinak did a great job. The music that we have used in the film, I had to, you know, scout people here in Himachal because uh, I wanted Himachali, the traditional music that we have here that, I have grown up listening to at our festivities and, like rituals and weddings. I wanted to incorporate that in my film because it's very close to me. I think it represents um, a lot of arts that I have absorbed growing up. So I wanted a piece of that in the film. I reached out to Ashish. He's a music producer and a farmer here. Um, he he's doing a great job already, but he had recorded these bhajantris, music in a studio, and he had all of these things, these recordings with him. So I reached out to him, and he was gracious enough to, share it with me. Then I had to find this one person because we wanted a particular piece for that sequence, that boys sequence. So that is where I wanted, certain music when he's observing his mother, or maybe, at the end when he is also, trying. So that piece we had gotten composed from Nav Sharma. He's a flautist by profession, and I think a lawyer, or he's studying law. But he's a flautist, a great flautist, but he had this instrument called rave drums and or handpan. I was very intrigued and I wanted, because I think it's very similar. It's a Nordic instrument. So, a lot of that mountain wala influence was there. I didn't want any Western, instrument or like music in my film. So we picked up that Nordic instrument, and Nav composed that. My sound designer Moinak, Nav and I did a lot of back and forth, and he composed it and gave us. So collaborated with a lot of people on this. Then Moinak did a fabulous job, and he weaved everything together, and the sound design came out, like brilliant. Um, the color process, my colorist was from Kochi, and since Salu was also there in Kochi, we thought we'll work with him. His name is Azif Ismail. He did the DI in his studio in Kochi, and yeah, you've seen the film. He did a really good job. So yeah, all in all, I think it was a process of. I think we started in March and we finished in June end.
Okay, great. And ma'am, you have completed the film, you have seen the film. Like, what is the process which you like the most, like shooting, editing, or writing? And who is like your close collaborator? Is it a cinematographer? Is it your actor? Is it your editor?
So the most, I think, I will say कि the entire thing is very मतलब it's extremely gratifying and rewarding, the entire process. But I feel like I'm happiest on set because there is so much of chaos. So much of chaos, and you have to think on your feet. You have to be very creative, and you're collaborating with these various departments. There is art direction, there is um sound team, there is camera team, there are actors, and there's just some 20 people at a time in one space working towards something. I think sets are amazing. Even I think people around me have told me like I would be miserable, I would not sleep, I would be working, I'm happy working 18 hours, 20 hours, and I'll be miserable, but it's the best time for me. Like I love being on sets. Writing is a little, it's good. It's good, but I don't know. I have never actually analyzed it, but I realized that I'm really happy when I'm on sets. Um, in terms of collaboration, I feel there is, I can't really name ki there's, one close collaborator. Um, I have equally wonderful relationships. When it comes to Chupi Roh, I have great relationship with my cinematographer and my editor for that matter. Both of them has helped me. Like my production when the film went on floor, that was happening because Salu, helped out and got on board, and he really liked the script, and I could not have like done it, the shoot part and everything, without him. At the same time, the post would not have happened if it were not for Divishri, my editor, because she really helped with sound and color and like she was there. Like when once the production, sorry, post production started, she was there through and through, to a point where I had like she has fought with me for things. Like I would tell her ki, oh no, this I don't have that kind of money, because a lot of times I had to think like a producer also. And and then there were like creative calls ki, oh nahi hai paisa, main kahan se karu, and then she would like fight with me only for the project, which was great. I mean, like she believed in the project, and she would tell me, you have worked so hard, what are you doing, don't ruin it, like last mein jaake ekdam, which is a great advice for future as well. So there is no close collaborator, and my family, yeah. Like let's just, I'm going to be very honest. All of this, even Salu, in this all of this very technical space and uh, professional space as well. But like my family had nothing to do with it. Like they don't care about filmmaking; they care about me. But they were there, like on set. My elder sister, she when she got on, she took her leave. She came early home. She helped me out with stuff. My father helped out. My mother helped out. I shot it at my aunt's house. There, my uncle and aunt, their son was helping in production. My friends Dhaval and Viplav, all of these people came from their spaces in Shimla or Chandigarh to help handle the set. You need a lot of people, like it's a lot of manpower that is required to make a film. So yeah, I think collaboration with people who either believe in you or your script, that has worked for me.
Okay, great, great, ma'am. And ma'am, what was the reaction when it got nominated for critics? Critics liked it, ma'am.
I lost it. I completely lost it. I'm not even kidding. I was like, oh, this is amazing because, of course, I was very happy when I got into, all these others film festivals. But at the same time, when Critics' Choice Award wala mail came, so I got a mail in December because they wanted something, regarding my film. And I was like, कि अगर इनको नहीं अच्छी लगी होती, तो why would they give two fucks about my film? Something is happening. I was like, And I did not tell it to anyone. And usually I can't keep shit to myself. Like I can't. I have to tell it to somebody. I'll tell my partner or my sister or like somebody I need to tell, ki, something is happening. But this was something that I kept to myself. I was like, I just don't want to jinx it. I'm not going to acknowledge it. I'm just going to do whatever they've asked. I'll just email it to them. And I was like, "Ki, chhod do, let it go." And I was at home with my parents in January, and then I got a mail from them, ki, you have been nominated in the Best Directors category. And I was like, what? Because I have like major imposter syndrome. Like I still can't believe sometimes like, yeah, I'm a filmmaker. But CCA gave me a lot of validation because critics. I mean, like there's so many people, and there were some amazing films, and these respectable and experienced and brilliantly talented people who are there. And then like my name was there. Like I think I got that the round tables, and they have like your nameplate on it. So there was like a paper thing. I was so happy to see it when I attended the festival. I just kept it. I was like, yeah. So CC gave me a lot of joy. I was very happy to be there, to be nominated. It was just, and the entire thing was such an honor for me.
Okay, okay, great, great, ma'am. Ma'am, are you currently doing any projects right now? Future project?
Um, I am working on two projects. One is a documentary that I'm planning to shoot in my village, and there is a feature script that I had developed during a workshop with European Union Film Festival. That is when I developed this feature script. I haven't visited it since then. I did it in 2021. Recently only I picked up because Chupi Roh, got into festivals, and I had this like, okay, now what? Ab to bana di film, and now it has gone wherever it's gone. It's like it's not under my control anymore. It'll go wherever it'll go. But after that, I started to think, okay, what next? Like, what am I doing? Then I started to revisit my feature script, and at the same time, there was this one documentary idea that was in my mind since pandemic days because I was at home. So yeah, these are two projects.
Ma'am, if somebody wants to assist you, so how they can approach you, ma'am?
Yeah, I think, pretty accessible. I mean, I'm there on social media, I'm on LinkedIn. Um, so if anybody wants to assist me, I would first say watch my film and then make a decision if they would like to assist me because it's very important to know whom you're assisting and why you are assisting them. So yeah, watch my film first and then let's have a conversation.
Okay, great. And ma'am, if you could recommend few films, your favorite films and filmmakers.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Um, I would, there's just too many names and films that come to my mind, but there are two projects that has remained very, very close to me and have like they stayed with me through and through. One is a recent, it's a web series called Baby Reindeer. I watched it like 10 days back. It's by Richard Gard. It's on Netflix. I would recommend that series. And I would recommend people to watch Joyland by Sayam Sadiq because you are missing out on a lot if you're not watching it. It's a powerful film. I mean, it stayed with me for days. I remember like I cried for like 1 hour straight after that, and I not because like it's sad or because it overwhelms you. There is so much happening in it, and it stayed with me for a very long time. I think for now these two things, Baby Reindeer by Richard Gard and Joyland by Sayam Sadiq.
Great, great. And ma'am, last question is, if somebody wants to become a filmmaker, like what advice would you give to them?
Okay. यार एडवाइस तो मैं क्या दूं, like I told you I have imposter syndrome,
Critic,
but
ma'am, critics have appreciated you, ma'am. Now
uh,
you have to give advice.
okay. I would say write something first, because this is my process. It's a very individual perspective, like my perspective. Have something, say, have an idea, write it, revisit it, come back to it. Even if you have a full-time job, if you have something or the other going on, even if you're assisting or in a film school, an idea is very important and you need to like work on it and revisit it. Like I'm not saying कि लिख दो और बना दो, ऐसे तो मतलब it's a very difficult. I've been talking for past 1 hour on my film and how difficult it was. So I know how much it takes, but have an idea. Like if you aspire to make a film first, work on your self, write something, revisit it, share it with your friends, take feedback. If you like somebody's writing, approach them, send cold emails, and tell them, "Ki, listen, I've written something," and you want feedback. There are a lot of people who might not reach out to you, but there will be one or two who will, and they will give you the best advices. So write something and revisit it and do whatever to make it, yeah. Collaborate, ask your friends, way cold mails, reach out to producers. If you want to make it, you have to like, get on it. So, which does not mean you have to rush it. Take your time, but keep on coming back to it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining.
No
Such
problem. Thank you so much for having me. You're doing a great job.